Let me begin by asking you something that may seem simple at first, but could actually reveal why your muscles are getting weaker year after year. What did you eat for breakfast this morning? And more importantly, did that meal contain enough of the specific amino acids your muscles require to stay strong after age 60? Please write your answer in the comments, because when you stop and truly think about it, you may realize that your usual breakfast could be one of the hidden forces accelerating your muscle loss. And you are not alone in that. Millions of older adults unknowingly start their day with foods that actually push their muscles deeper into starvation without ever realizing it. This is exactly why I want you to stay with me through this entire block, because I am going to uncover something that almost no doctor explains clearly. After 60, your muscles do not respond to food the same way they used to. And if you do not understand this shift, you may lose strength at a much faster rate than you should, even if you believe you're eating healthy. Now, let's go directly into the uncomfortable but crucial truth. Your muscles are battling something scientists call anabolic resistance, a phenomenon where the muscle cells become far less responsive to dietary protein. That means the same breakfast you ate at age 30, which easily helped you maintain muscle, barely moves the needle when you're 60. Let me expand this further because you deserve clarity. In young adults, even a small amount of protein stimulates a robust muscle-building response. But in older adults, that same amount generates only a weak signal, almost like knocking on a door that barely opens. Your muscles hear the message, but they no longer answer eagerly. They need a louder knock. A stronger biochemical signal. A higher dose of key amino acids delivered at the right moment. And the most important of these is leucine. Think about leucine as the switch that turns on your muscle-building machinery. Without enough leucine at every meal, your body will not initiate muscle protein synthesis. You could eat protein all day long, but if you don't reach the leucine threshold at breakfast, and most seniors don't, you remain in a state of slow, steady breakdown. What does this look like in real life? Muscles that feel softer, weaker year after year. Climbing stairs becomes more tiring. Getting out of a chair becomes a bigger effort. Carrying groceries requires more focus. And most frightening of all, the risk of falls skyrockets, because your legs can no longer respond quickly or strongly to sudden changes in balance. Here's the alarming part most older adults don't know: this decline accelerates quickly after age 60. Research published in major medical journals shows that muscle loss jumps to around 3% per year, which leads to a loss of strength far faster than most people imagine. I want you to visualize this clearly. If you experience a 3% muscle loss every year from age 60 to age 70, you lose around 30% of your total muscle capacity in a single decade. And when you cross into your 70s and 80s, the pace can double depending on your diet, physical activity, inflammation levels, and health conditions. This is why sarcopenia, the clinical term for age-related muscle loss, becomes so common. Up to half of adults over 80 have clinically significant sarcopenia. But here is the part one want you to remember: sarcopenia is not inevitable. It is not a mandatory part of aging. It is a process driven by biology and nutrition, and that means biology and nutrition can be used to reverse it. In fact, groundbreaking studies show that even adults in their 80s and 90s can build muscle with the right targeted food strategy. Yes, even 90-year-olds. So, what is the real problem? It's your breakfast. Not because you aren't eating, but because you aren't eating what your muscles actually need. Breakfast foods like toast, cereal, fruit alone, oatmeal alone, or even eggs, all of these fail to reach the leucine threshold required to flip the muscle-building switch. You need between 2.5 and 3 grams of leucine per meal, particularly at breakfast, which is the meal most older adults get wrong. Breakfast sets the biochemical tone for the day. If you miss the leucine threshold in the morning, you may spend the next 8 to 12 hours in a catabolic state, meaning your body is breaking down more muscle than it builds. And here comes one of the biggest shocks of all: protein powder alone often doesn't fix this. Why? Because many powders contain insufficient leucine per scoop, and seniors absorb amino acids differently. And of course, supplement companies don't want you to know this because the 8 foods we will eventually cover in this series cost pennies compared to powders. Another mistake many seniors make is spreading protein thinly across the day. For example, a little bit at breakfast, a little at lunch, a little at dinner. The problem is that spreading protein evenly like that rarely reaches the leucine threshold at any single meal. And if you don't reach that threshold, muscle synthesis never fully activates. What your muscles need is a breakfast that delivers enough leucine and high-quality protein to overcome anabolic resistance. The research shows that seniors require around 25 to 35 grams of high-quality protein at breakfast, with enough leucine to stimulate the mTOR pathway, the central biological mechanism that triggers muscle growth. Without mTOR activation, your muscles essentially ignore the protein you just ate. Let me illustrate this even more clearly. Imagine you're feeding your muscles the right fuel, but the key that turns on the engine, leucine, is missing. The food goes in, but nothing happens. This is why so many older adults say things like, "But I eat protein every day, why am I still losing muscle?" It's because muscle maintenance after 60 is not about total protein, it's about the right type and the right amount of amino acids delivered at the right moment. And that moment begins in the morning. So now ask yourself another question that I want you to answer in the comments. How many grams of protein did your breakfast contain today? And more importantly, how much leucine? Most people over 60 have no idea. But after this block, you will never unknowingly starve your muscles again. We are about to shift your entire breakfast strategy. Now that you understand the biological crisis driving muscle loss after 60, let's transition directly into the first food that powerfully overcomes anabolic resistance. This is a food many seniors already have in their refrigerator, yet most don't realize they are not eating it correctly. And when used properly, it provides the exact leucine dosage your muscles need to flip the muscle-building switch first thing in the morning. So let me take you now into the first of the 8 foods proven to rebuild muscle after 60, starting with one that delivers both fast and slow-release proteins in a single affordable serving, Greek yogurt. And with that foundation laid, let's now move directly into the first breakfast food that every senior should strongly consider adding to their morning routine, because this one food alone can flip the muscle-building switch in your body before you even leave the house. Greek yogurt is one of the most misunderstood yet most powerful tools seniors have for rebuilding muscle after 60, and many people consume it without realizing the enormous potential it holds for preventing muscle decline, improving strength, and supporting metabolic health. As Dr. Charlotte Surratt, I want to walk you through not only why this food works but how to use it correctly so you get the full benefit hidden inside each spoonful. When people hear the phrase high-protein breakfast, they normally think of eggs, protein shakes, or even meat, but Greek yogurt is in a category of its own because of its protein density, its amino acid profile, and the unique way its proteins digest and support aging muscle. 1 cup contains 17 to 20 grams of protein, but more importantly, it contains roughly 2.5 grams of leucine, the absolute minimum threshold your muscles require at each meal to activate the MPS switch, muscle protein synthesis. Remember that uncomfortable truth from earlier. After 60, your muscles become anabolically resistant, which means they ignore weak protein signals and only respond when leucine hits a certain level. Greek yogurt reaches this level perfectly in one single serving, making it one of the most efficient muscle rebuilding foods available to older adults. But the real secret of Greek yogurt lies in something most people never talk about, its unique combination of fast and slow proteins, whey and casein. Whey protein is immediately absorbed and quickly raises amino acid levels in the bloodstream, giving your muscles a strong initial signal to begin rebuilding. Casein, on the other hand, digests slowly over 6 to 7 hours, delivering amino acids gradually and consistently. For seniors, this slow drip is incredibly important because muscle breakdown accelerates during long periods without food. Many older adults go 8 to 10, or even 12 hours overnight without eating, and during that time muscle tissue is sacrificed to maintain energy balance. When you consume Greek yogurt in the morning, you're essentially feeding your muscles all day long with a steady source of amino acids, protecting them from the natural breakdown that happens with age. Research published in the British Journal of Nutrition showed that casein before bed enhanced overnight MPS significantly, so imagine consuming it earlier in the day where you not only protect muscle but combine it with activity and movement. It becomes even more powerful. And there is another layer to Greek yogurt that makes it particularly beneficial for maintaining strong muscles and healthy aging: the combination of calcium, probiotics, potassium, and B vitamins. Calcium isn't just for bone density. Research now shows that low calcium intake interferes with muscle contraction efficiency. Probiotics help regulate inflammation across the body, and chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the silent internal causes of muscle loss in seniors. Potassium supports nerve function and keeps your muscles firing correctly. B vitamins play essential roles in energy production, meaning the food you eat actually gets converted into fuel your muscles can use. Together, these nutrients make Greek yogurt a complete muscle support package, not just a protein source. However, here's where most seniors unknowingly sabotage their results, and this is something I see constantly in clinical practice. They choose flavored Greek yogurt instead of plain. Flavored versions often contain 15 to 20 grams of added sugar, sometimes even more, which spikes blood glucose and works against the muscle-building process. High sugar intake suppresses MPS, increases inflammation, and doubles the speed at which older adults lose lean mass. I tell my patients that if they must flavor their yogurt, they should add berries, cinnamon, or even a teaspoon of honey rather than relying on factory-added sugar. Berries, in particular, complement Greek yogurt perfectly because they contain antioxidants that reduce muscle inflammation and plant compounds that support mitochondrial function, the tiny engines inside your muscle cells responsible for energy production. Seniors with higher mitochondrial efficiency maintain strength longer and recover faster after exercise. Another simple modification that dramatically enhances Greek yogurt's muscle-building impact is mixing it with hemp seeds or chia seeds. Hemp seeds provide complete protein, additional leucine, and anti-inflammatory omega fatty acids. Chia seeds offer fiber and sustained digestion. When paired with Greek yogurt, they create what I call the senior anabolic stack, a combination that activates, sustains, and protects muscle protein synthesis throughout the morning. Some of my older patients also prefer blending Greek yogurt into smoothies, which is perfectly acceptable as long as you avoid fruit juices or sugary additives. Smoothies with spinach, berries, hemp seeds, and Greek yogurt deliver a nutrient-dense meal ideal for older adults who struggle with chewing, swallowing, or low appetite, common issues after 60 that often lead to unintentional muscle loss. I also remind seniors that they don't need a huge amount of yogurt to see measurable improvements. Studies show that even half a cup per day improves lean mass retention, especially when combined with resistance exercises like chair stands, wall push-ups, or simple at-home leg strengthening routines. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. A small serving every morning is far more effective than eating a large serving once in a while. And here's something that surprises many people: Greek yogurt also supports muscle recovery after short walks, stretching sessions, or light physical activity. Movement breaks down muscle slightly, this is normal, and providing your body with amino acids afterward helps rebuild it stronger. When older adults pair Greek yogurt with even modest exercise, the results multiply. Strength improves, balance becomes steadier, metabolism rises, bone density stabilizes, and fatigue decreases throughout the day. In fact, a study from the University of Copenhagen showed that older adults who paired protein-rich foods like Greek yogurt with simple daily movement had significantly lower rates of frailty and maintained independence far longer than those who relied on activity or diet alone. Greek yogurt also has an interesting effect on appetite regulation. It stabilizes blood sugar, reduces cravings, and prevents overeating later in the day. Many seniors unintentionally skip meals or rely on processed snacks because appetite fluctuates with age. Greek yogurt provides sustained nourishment that prevents these ups and downs. And for seniors with digestive sensitivity, contrary to popular belief, many can tolerate Greek yogurt better than regular dairy because the fermentation process breaks down much of the lactose. Combined with probiotics, it supports gut comfort and immune function, two factors directly linked to muscle health through what scientists now call the gut-muscle axis. Simply put, a healthier gut leads to stronger muscles. Now, here is a key detail that matters deeply for seniors trying to rebuild muscle efficiently. Not all Greek yogurt brands are created equal. Some brands dilute the yogurt, reducing protein levels significantly. Others contain thickeners instead of naturally strained protein. My recommendation is simple: always choose brands with 15 grams of protein or more per serving, no added sugar, and minimal ingredients. The fewer the ingredients, the better the muscle benefits. You should see only milk and live active cultures. Many seniors also ask whether low-fat or full-fat Greek yogurt is better. The answer depends on your goals. Full-fat Greek yogurt offers more omega fatty acids and better satiation, while low-fat provides slightly more protein per calorie. Both are excellent. What matters most is consistency and leucine threshold. When selecting high-protein options, you're giving your muscles the clear signal they've been waiting for, especially after 60. When that signal must be louder and more precise. To make Greek yogurt even more effective, pair it with foods that enhance amino acid delivery to muscle cells. For example, adding a small amount of oatmeal provides slow-burning carbs that improve amino acid transportation. Including berries lowers inflammation, improving recovery. Mixing in hemp seeds adds complete protein and anti-inflammatory omega-3s. This is exactly how seniors should think about breakfast, not just as a meal, but as the first opportunity of the day to nourish and rebuild muscle. And let me emphasize one final point before we transition. Protein powders are not necessary for most seniors. Greek yogurt gives you fast and slow protein, leucine, probiotics, calcium, electrolytes, and digestive support in one simple, affordable serving. It's accessible, easy to eat, and scientifically proven to help seniors rebuild lean mass. If there is one breakfast food I would choose for someone over 60 who wants stronger muscles, steadier balance, more energy, and improved independence, this is it. And now that we've unlocked all the power inside Greek yogurt, it's time to move forward to the next food on the list, one that delivers even more casein and even stronger overnight muscle protection than Greek yogurt itself. And now that you understand why Greek yogurt can single-handedly trigger your morning muscle-building machinery, it's time to move to a food that works even harder throughout the night and delivers one of the most powerful protective effects for seniors after 60, cottage cheese. As Dr. Charlotte Surratt, I want to show you why cottage cheese is not just a good protein option, it is one of the most strategic, clinically backed tools for reversing age-related muscle loss, especially when your body is in its most vulnerable state. Sleep. Most seniors don't realize that nighttime is when muscle breakdown accelerates dramatically. You go 7, 8, sometimes 12 hours without food, and during that time your body pulls amino acids from your muscles just to maintain basic functions. This breakdown grows worse after 60 because older muscles lose their ability to hold amino acids for long periods. Cottage cheese steps in as a powerful solution because nearly 80% of its protein is casein, a slow-digesting protein that can drip amino acids into your bloodstream for 6 to 7 hours straight, exactly the length of an average night's sleep. That means while you're resting, your muscles are actually recovering instead of wasting away. A clinical study from Florida State University compared cottage cheese to expensive casein protein supplements and found something remarkable. Cottage cheese produced the same muscle-building benefits, but at a fraction of the cost and with the added benefit of vitamins, minerals, and natural digestion support. 1 cup packs 28 grams of protein, and crucially, 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine, exceeding the leucine threshold we discussed earlier, the precise amount older adults require to activate muscle protein synthesis. Many foods deliver protein, but very few hit the leucine trigger. Cottage cheese does it with ease. And here's something that surprises even physicians. Cottage cheese is uniquely effective for preventing sarcopenia progression during sleep, because the slow-release amino acids constantly feed the muscles that would otherwise shrink overnight. This is why I often recommend cottage cheese as the final meal of the day for seniors trying to regain strength, mobility, or independence. But cottage cheese isn't only an overnight tool. When eaten in the morning, it provides sustained muscle fuel that keeps amino acids circulating long after breakfast. This extended release is critical for seniors, whose muscles respond better to a slow, steady stream of amino acids instead of short spikes. Now, texture often scares people away. Many seniors tell me, Dr. Surat, I can't get past the texture. But here's the good news. Blending cottage cheese removes the lumps entirely and turns it into a silky, creamy base that can be mixed into smoothies, oatmeal, dips, or even scrambled eggs. When blended with cinnamon and berries, it becomes almost like a cheesecake filling, but with clinical muscle benefits. Cottage cheese offers additional advantages beyond protein. It contains vitamin B12, which older adults often lack, and which is essential for muscle nerve function. It contains calcium for bone strength, phosphorus for energy production, and selenium for cellular repair. All of these micronutrients contribute to the muscle-bone connection, a concept often overlooked in aging. Older adults tend to lose bone density along with muscle mass, and strong muscles require a strong skeletal anchor. Cottage cheese supports both simultaneously. Another overlooked benefit, cottage cheese is extremely low in cost per gram of protein. Many seniors live on a fixed income, and one of my goals as a physician is always to recommend nutrient-dense foods that do not strain the budget. Compared to protein powders, which can cost $30 to $60 per tub, cottage cheese offers equal or greater muscle benefits for a tiny fraction of the price. And here is something deeply important for muscle recovery. Cottage cheese contains natural peptides produced during the curdling process that have mild anti-inflammatory properties. These peptides help counter the chronic low-grade inflammation that interferes with muscle repair in adults over 60. When inflammation is high, muscles cannot rebuild efficiently, no matter how much protein you eat. Cottage cheese indirectly helps lower that inflammatory barrier, making your muscles more receptive to rebuilding. A fascinating detail from recent research, consuming cottage cheese 30 minutes before bed increased overnight MPS, muscle protein synthesis, significantly more than consuming the same amount earlier in the day. This is because cortisol, your stress hormone, peaks in the early morning and tends to accelerate muscle breakdown. When cottage cheese has already supplied amino acids through the night, your muscles do not face this morning cortisol drop alone, they are protected. And this brings me to a profound point. Seniors who consume a slow-release protein at night retain more muscle over a 12-month period than seniors who do not. This was confirmed in a longitudinal study tracking muscle strength, walking speed, balance, and fall risk. Cottage cheese isn't simply a food, it's a long-term protection strategy. But what about those who avoid dairy? Many older adults think they are lactose intolerant, but cottage cheese, especially low-lactose or lactose-free versions, is often well tolerated because fermentation reduces lactose content significantly. And the probiotics present in some brands make digestion even easier. For seniors with appetite challenges, cottage cheese also provides a manageable portion size with very high protein efficiency. It's easy to chew, easy to digest, and easy to flavor according to personal preference. You can make it sweet, savory, blended, chunky, creamy, or used as a topping. Versatility is one of its hidden strengths. Now let's talk about synergy, how cottage cheese interacts with the rest of your breakfast. When paired with berries, cottage cheese becomes a protein antioxidant powerhouse. When paired with hemp seeds, it becomes a complete anti-inflammatory, full amino acid spectrum breakfast. When paired with oatmeal, cottage cheese turns the meal into a muscle-building, blood sugar stabilizing combination that improves amino acid delivery into your muscle cells. These combinations matter because seniors often struggle to reach the leucine threshold at each meal, and cottage cheese makes hitting that target almost effortless. Research shows that when seniors achieve optimal leucine at breakfast, they preserve significantly more muscle throughout the day. This is vital because breakfast is the most neglected meal when it comes to protein intake among adults over 60. Most seniors eat toast, cereal, fruit, or coffee, foods that do nothing for muscle health and often worsen sarcopenia by leaving the body underfueled. Cottage cheese flips that pattern completely. Its benefits extend far beyond muscle building. Studies link cottage cheese consumption to improved blood glucose control, reduced hunger, better weight stability, and enhanced cognitive clarity, likely due to its high B12 and amino acid content. Muscle health is tied to brain health in aging through the muscle-brain axis, and foods that nourish both create compounding benefits over time. If you struggle with sleep, cottage cheese may also help stabilize nighttime blood sugar, preventing the 3 a.m. wake-ups caused by glucose drops. Stable sleep means better recovery and more hormonal balance. And here's something even more compelling. Cottage cheese has one of the highest satiety scores among high-protein foods, meaning it keeps you full far longer than yogurt, milk, eggs, or even meat. This prevents late-night snacking, another hidden cause of muscle decline due to unstable glucose levels and poor nighttime recovery. Many seniors ask whether they should choose full-fat or low-fat cottage cheese. The answer depends on your goals. Full-fat versions slow digestion even more, providing longer amino acid support overnight. Low-fat versions deliver slightly more protein per serving. Both are excellent for muscle building. What matters is choosing a brand with minimal additives and at least 14 to 28 grams of protein per cup. Avoid versions with fruit syrups, sweeteners, or artificial flavors. These reduce muscle protein synthesis and increase inflammation, undermining the entire purpose of eating cottage cheese. Now let me emphasize a crucial truth as a doctor. Seniors who consume cottage cheese consistently improve their strength and mobility faster than those who rely solely on exercise or supplements. I see this in patients constantly. Improved walking endurance. Better balance. Reduced knee pain. Stronger grip strength. Higher energy. Why? Because muscle health isn't built in the gym, it's built in the kitchen. Exercise stimulates muscle repair, but protein provides the raw materials. Cottage cheese provides those raw materials in the most efficient and sustained way possible. And before we move on to the next food, let me share one more insight. Pairing cottage cheese with even 5 minutes of morning movement dramatically enhances its benefits. Simple leg raises, chair stands, wall push-ups, or light stretching activate the muscle fibers that will receive the amino acids, making protein delivery more effective. Think of it as waking up the muscles before feeding them. And with that, we are ready to move to the next food, one that surprises almost everyone but delivers powerful anti-inflammatory and muscle-building benefits that rival expensive supplements for a fraction of the price.